Key bodies involved in workplace health and safety: SafeWork New South Wales, PCBU, HSR, Health and Safety Committees. So firstly, we're going to talk about SafeWork New South Wales, which is the New South Wales branch of the SafeWork Australia Council, the government department which oversees health and safety at a national level. They're dedicated to the health and safety within workplaces across every industry, and thus they're the first point of contact outside of the business itself when wanting to consult about matters or report issues if they feel like it's not getting dealt with internally. It supports workplaces through providing consultation and guidances for organisations in relation to WHS matters. They can be called out in order to conduct safety checks, and ultimately they have enforcement powers, which means if things don't look right within a workplace, they can obviously put things in place in order to make the company fix it up, such as closing down areas, putting in fines, or give improvement notices about how to do things. Okay, so they're the first point of call outside an organization if there are issues, and that's for every industry as they are the government body in charge of health and safety. Secondly, we have two key people within the actual workplace. So the first one is that of the PCBU, the person conducting business or undertaking. In accordance with the Workplace Health and Safety Act 2011, this title of PCBU is assigned to the person in charge within an organization, usually the employer, okay, the person that owns the actual company. By being in charge, they are legally responsible for making sure health and safety matters are being communicated within their workplace and allowing all employees within the workplace to be able to participate and identify concerns and consult with management if they are worried about a particular safety issue. If an incident does occur within a workplace, responsibility will ultimately fall onto the PCBU. Therefore, they want to make sure there is a process for participation and consultation going on within the workplace so they know what safety matters there are in order for them to be addressed. Now, also within each workplace, there is another role which is assigned to a specific employee, and that is of a HSR, a health and safety representative. Once again, under the same legislation, a health and safety representative can be elected by workers. So they're not assigned by the person in charge, the PCBU, but they're elected by the workers because there's someone who has their interests at heart and is representing them in relation to health and safety. Through being assigned to HSR or being elected to HSR, they are given a number of powers in order to aid in WHS within the workplace, outranking even the PCBU when it comes to health and safety matters. Some of these rights and responsibilities relate to investigating concerns of staff related to workplace health and safety, monitoring management and looking at how well they are doing that consultation and allowing people to participate and responding to their concerns, consulting with SafeWork New South Wales when necessary, whether that be for guidance or for support if they feel like nothing's happening. They can stop work within a specific area if they believe there is an issue and it's not being resolved. And finally, they need to keep up to date with workplace health and safety policy, practice, and training. So they'll need to go to in-servicing, see what updates are happening in relation to policy and procedures, and then bring that back to the workplace and inform everyone, including the PCBU themselves. The final area is that of health and safety committees. Okay, this is where a group of individuals within an organization can come together and discuss concerns, updates, training, policy, and procedure related to safety within the specific workplace. So essentially, all these people may represent different departments within one workplace, and then they'd all raise their issues with one another and then discuss how they could be solved. Most likely, the HSR would be on the team and be its chairperson, the person in charge of the meeting. They're the one going out, as said, getting the training, getting an understanding of current legislation and policy and procedure, and they'd feed that back to the team. As a team, they have the opportunity for all members to discuss all these issues from their various different departments and then discuss the practical solutions for solving these problems. The communication of this team would then be passed on to employees of the different departments so they'd all go back to their own respective departments and tell everyone within their departments what's kind of going on at maybe their own team meetings so that they can know what the actual status is of health and safety in their department. This process aids in both participation and consultation requirements of the WHS Act as it allows people to talk. So it might be people from different departments tell their representative of the Health and Safety Committee. That member then goes to the health and safety team meeting and then brings it up with all other team members and the HSR, and they can come to solutions. And then they come to solutions, and that all gets fed back in the reverse process. They all go back to their individual teams and explain to them how they're going to address matters. What we can do here is communicate safety issues, okay, raised by all these different departments. We discuss practical solutions for addressing WHS matters. They're keeping up to date with, once again, the relevant legislation, policy, and procedure being fed back probably through the HSR. They develop standards, rules, and procedures for addressing health and safety based on legislation and practices specific to their workplace. Okay, and then they identify matters at this meeting which potentially may need to be raised with the PCBU in order to be resolved. If it is the purchasing of new equipment or having to be a new organizational wide practice in order to keep people safe. And obviously, that needs to be ticked off by the PCBU as they are in charge. So I hope this has given you understanding of the key bodies involved in WHS. That of SafeWork New South Wales being the governing body through the actual government themselves, who support us in New South Wales in all industries related to WHS. The PCBU, the person in charge, okay, the person conducting business undertaking, who is given responsibility and obviously being in charge of making sure health and safety is being implemented in workplaces. And if it doesn't, accountability will fall onto them. And then the HSR, the person elected by their fellow peers to support them and be in the know of what's going on in health and safety for their actual workplace. And finally, health and safety committees, people from multiple different departments coming together to discuss health and safety in the workplace in order to provide a safer workplace for everyone.